Hi guys and welcome to Deck Check episode 8, and today I'm going to talk about Kolento's Dragon Priest. That's the list that I like the most, and I played a lot of Dragon Priest before. I was trying to find the best list, and there's a lot of versions, but let's jump into this one specific version and let's talk about it. So what you can see right here is Power Shield. Obviously you need two of them, but you don't keep them in mulligan hands. Basically the mulligan, you're looking for the 2-drops and you're looking for dragons. So when I mulligan, I'm trying to get the whelps, I'm trying to get Wyrmrest Agent, Shadow Word Pain, I'm keeping it. Also depends what are you playing against. If you're playing versus mid-range decks, I sometimes keep the Occultist, but mostly I mulligan it, and I mostly keep a dragon. If I get something like Twilight Guardian in my opening hand, I do keep it. It doesn't matter if I have the coin or not, because I mulligan everything else to try to find the whelps, the agent. So if I find them, I want to have the dragon in my hands. I'm even sometimes keeping Ysera. Rarely. If you get your free cards, you mostly get like a couple of dragons and you can mulligan Ysera away. But consider that. If you get unlucky with the dragons, you can actually keep Ysera. And till the end of the game, you will have the dragons in hand. So, mulliganing for those low drops, you don't keep Power or Shield. Because if you don't have the minion, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. And Power or Shield is always good to just recycle it to get a card when you have the minions on board. This is a tempo deck. It's not control. And you just need to keep the tempo, just keep clearing the minions and always having minions on board. You just need to grab the early game. There's no burst in the deck, almost. There's only Holy Nova. So if you actually fall behind, it's really hard to come back with those specific cards. But let's talk about what we have. Northshire Cleric for the draws, but you don't prioritize drawing card, you do prioritize playing minions. So if you have an opportunity to play a minion, play a minion. Do not specifically draw cards. Sometimes you can obviously draw cards if there is a possibility. If you, for example, don't have the dragon, you can prioritize drawing a card, but more or less you want to play cards on curve. So Cleric turn 1 or Whelp turn 1, then turn 2 agents, maybe Shadow Word Pain, free Cultist. What else? Whelps, you sometimes can keep them. If you, for example, have the Whelp and you have the Twilight Guardian in your hand, depending on the matchup, if you're playing versus Hunter, you might want to play the Whelp early, but if you're not playing versus Hunter, you might actually keep the Whelp for the Twilight Guardian, because Twilight Guardian, if it hits, is a 3/6 taunt. That's amazing. If it doesn't, it's just a 2/6, and that doesn't even matter, especially when you play versus Patrons. I would keep the Twilight Whelp and just be able to play Twilight Guardian. And well, you will have time to play the Whelp. And later in the game, you can also keep the Whelp as the, let's say, baitry for your dragons. Shadow Word Pain is really good to keep it in an opening hand. Shrinkmeister is interesting. Like in the very beginning, if you have those 1-drops, 2-drops, you can keep it to be able to trade versus other players' minions. But sometimes you do mulligan in the way. You do want to Wyrmrest Agent, and some decks will just kill it anyway. For example, versus Paladin, I usually don't keep Shrinkmeister because Shield Minibot is just dealing with it easily. Wyrmrest Agent always keep. You want to have it. It's a great card. It's a 2/4. Even if you don't get the dragon, 1/4 can still do some job versus aggro decks. Shadow Word Death. Right now, there's so many targets for Shadow Word Death. Obviously, people play Tyrion, Mysterious Challenger, Throttling Berserkers, Lothab still is a target. After a couple of turns, Savannah Highmane is being played. And what else? Torison, Handlock is actually coming back. Fell Reavers are still being playable. So many targets. Obviously, average dragon decks, you want to target Blackwing Raptors and stuff. Sometimes you can even combo Shadow Word Death with Valence Chosen. If there's like a Sludge Belcher, you can play Valence Chosen or Sludge Belcher and then Shadow Word Death, which you are actually going to see in the second part of the video. Valence Chosen instead of Blackwing Technician, I think it's a good choice. For one, it's a spell damage, so you can have a big Holy Nova dealing 3 damage to the board, but basically it's the card that buffs your minion and helps you to keep the tempo advantage. If you can buff something like Cleric or like Agent, you have this big minion that can attack, and it's really hard to deal with. Silence is not that popular anymore, and Paladin are running Equality. Well, sometimes midrange does, but the Secret Paladin doesn't run it that much. And if you play versus Mage, Mage, they will have to Fireball it and also use some other cards. If they don't have Fireball, they mostly concede. So Valence Chosen is a really good card, also a tempo card, because sometimes you can just buff your minion and kill a minion. You get a good advantage there, and then you start healing. So good stuff. Dark Cultist is just too good. You have to have it. A 3/4 for 3 mana is a bit above curve, and buffing your minions always nice. Dragon King Sorcerer, I didn't like it in the very beginning. In the lists where there is no Violence Chosen and when there is only double powered shield, I would not run it. I don't like it. It's just a 3/5 then. But in this list, it's particularly good. Sometimes you can even preemptively buff it. It's getting so much plus from Valence Chosen or Power with Shield that you just build up the big dragon and people want to kill it. It's also like kind of like a lightning rod, because when you play it, people are like, oh my god, he's gonna buff Dragon King Sorcerer, I better kill it. So it's pretty okay. I absolutely like it in the list. Twilight Guardians are just amazing. A 3/6 taunt if you hit the dragon. And by turn 4, it's not that hard to hit the dragon. Sometimes you can keep them if they're the only dragon in your hand, and you have Blackwing Corruptor. Well, actually, no, you still play it because you do have the dragons of Blackwing Corruptor. But always think about do you really need to play them? And if you don't have the dragon, sometimes it's also valuable to play them as a 2/6, just a minion that will be able to trade into other minions. But if you have them with another dragon, just slam it. It's just 3/6, so good. Holy Nova, obviously a good clear, so you need that. Azure Drakes, they draw you cards. They are Dragon, Blackwing Corruptor, great removal card. Most of the time you will try to play Blackwing Corruptor to remove a minion when you play it, but sometimes just going for face with 3 damage. You need to find a spot, like on turn 5, what is your board? Are you the aggressor? Are you the one pushing for damage? Because sometimes you just can use it to deal damage to face and attack with everything else to face, and then prepare a finish with maybe Holy Nova or a second Blackwing Corruptor. Vol'jin, I really like Vol'jin, especially because I faced so many handlocks recently, but it's another removal card. It's another removal card because if you're playing a tempo deck, so you mostly have the minions on board, you slam Vol'jin, you just reduce something to 2, and then you have this another big creature that's hard to deal with and needs to be silenced, and silence is not that popular in the current metagame. Cabal Shadow Priest, always good, can be comboed with Shrinkmeister, hard to actually get the combo because it's 8 mana, but remember that you can do that. You can do that, absolutely. And other than that, Cabal Shadow Priest just steals stuff. Steals Acolyte of Pain, Armor Smith, whatever they play. Before 6, you can sometimes even coin it and have a very good steal. I like stealing Quartermasters. Somehow I played a lot of versus a lot of Paladins, and stealing Quartermaster is always nice, getting a 2/5. And Ysera, just another dragon, great dragon providing you with cards. So this is what it is in the deck. What's not in the deck, I'm not playing, because it's like Kolento's Priest, I was looking for the list. So Kolento is not running Paletress. You can run Paletress instead of Vol'jin if you really want Paletress, but I don't like Paletress myself. You can run Sylvanas instead of Vol'jin as well. So Sylvanas is a card you can actually include. Chilmo, I was playing Chilmo, and Chilmo doesn't really work that well. I kind of like the card, but in most situations, you want to have the board, and when you slam Chilmo, it's probably a losing play anyway, because your board is going to die, and you don't want to have that Chilmo explode. So Chilmo doesn't really fit the list. There is a couple of other cards like Blackwing Technician. I think on those turns you sometimes don't have the dragon and you absolutely prefer Valence Chosen instead. Similar stats, and you buff something on board, you also get that spell damage, which is pretty good. And protect the minion, because you can buff something like, I don't know, Shrinkmeister, which is a 5/6. So this is the deck. You play at tempo, as mentioned, just play your minions, push forward, deal as much damage as possible, and make your opponent trade into your minions, where you can actually heal as well. So a really good list, I love it, just try it, it's a good list that can get you to Legend. And now let's jump into the game and see how it actually works. For the first game, we are going to face the Paladin, and Paladin is a class you always have to assume it's a Secret Paladin, mulligan go Valence. I'm keeping Azure Drake because of dragons, and I'm lucky enough to get Wyrmrest Agents as well. I'm pretty happy with this hand, opening with Northshire Cleric, because, you know, they don't always have a shielded mini-bot that can have other stuff, so opening with this is pretty much fine. Then he has the shielded mini-bot as usual with the coin. Wyrmrest Agent is actually working pretty well, getting rid of the shield so that shield mini-bot dies to the 2/4. There's a Haunted Creeper, and Wyrmrest Agent actually locked the Paladin for now. He's deciding if he wants to attack or not. He decides to not attack. And now I have this weird option to actually go with the Shrinkmeister and do not heal with the Cleric. So instead of just healing Cleric here and drawing a card, I'm deciding to do a tempo play and have more minions on board. And with this, I'm locking the game. Right now, with double Cleric, I can actually heal instead of playing Dark Cultist. because, you know, 2 cards is good, but I was the one who actually opened with the minions, so now I have the tempo advantage. I'm the one attacking face, and he needs to deal with the Wyrmrest Agent. He's absolutely locked, can't even deal with the Wyrmrest Agent for now. 5 mana, just continue drawing cards because I have such a great advantage and so many minions on board that it's not even needed to play like everything. Getting him to 13, absolute tempo advantage, but now he has a chance to actually make some trades. It doesn't matter to me that much. He plays the Juggler Rainforest, hits the 1/1, a nice snipe juggle, but we're still in a good shape. He plays the Secret, and now I can do whatever I want. He is at 13, so I need to think about what secret that might be. I'm thinking that might be Noble Sacrifice, so that was actually Redemption, but it doesn't matter at this point because I have so much damage on board. I'm going 8 to face, putting him at 3. And now it's his turn to come back. Redemption was actually pretty good for him, but because he got the Pirate Shooter back. But now, can I deal the last 3 damage? What can happen? I'm expecting a Mysterious Challenger, and with Mysterious Challenger I would actually win. Sludge Belcher is a bit better for him, but I do have the combo. I have my option that I was talking about. So Valence Chosen on the Belcher. Now you can Shower Death it, just attack the slime, and 3 to face, which wins me the game. Now we play versus Hunter. There is still a couple of Hunters on the ladder, and versus Hunter you shouldn't have any problems. I just keep the Dragon, Dark Cultist, Wyrmrest Agent. I'm pretty happy with this opening, even though we don't have the 1-drop. It's not really needed, and I would not mulligan any card away, and absolutely I need to have the Dragon. There is a Leper Gnimsh to start from the Hunter's perspective. Wyrmrest Agent, again, blocking the path of the pesky gnome. He is coining the Knife Juggler, and it abuses Surgeon, so he is able to actually get the Wyrmrest Agent done. Turn 3, I'm going with the minion again, because this minion is not really contested. If he hits with a Juggle, he will have to attack with the Juggler into it. I could have also Shadow Word Pain, but I feel like minion is actually a good choice here. And well, this is Face Hunter, so he's going for face. There is a new nice card, but it doesn't matter. A 3/9 taunt, just blocking the way of the Hunter. With Glaive Zuka, Hunter uses the steady shot, and then, well, he realizes that there is nothing he can do. So that was a pretty fast game versus Hunter. Hunters are easy. And now we face a legendary player. It was like a warrior. So I'm keeping Twilight Whelp, Dark Cultist, get the Twilight Guardian. I will be able to actually start with the Dragon. I'm going with the Whelp because I feel like I will be able to draw a Dragon in the next 3 turns. There's enough Dragons. I get one already. Unfortunately, nothing on turn 2, and I have to assume this is Patron. There is a lot of Control Warriors, there is a lot of Patron Warriors as well on ladder, but it's safer to assume that this is a Patron, and again, you just have to push with damage, you have to have the tempo advantage. Knowledge Inventor sells the fact that this is in fact Patron, and with Twilight Guardian, I'm building up a very good board, very good defense, which is tough for Patrons. Patron normally doesn't run Brawl, there is a Whirlwind, and Balrage to draw the card. He is searching for things. He has an Execute, so a good way to deal with the Twilight Guardian, but there is another Twilight Guardian from my side. There is also Blackwing Corruptor. I could have just Blackwing Corruptor, but I'm playing against Death Spite. So I was thinking there is a Death Spite, and I don't want the Gnome to survive as well, because Death Spite can easily clear my my Twilight Guardian, and now he's just taking extra damage. With the Whirlwind, he's actually able to deal with the second Twilight Guardian, but now with Fiery War Axe, I'm able to play a Blackwing Raptor, because if there is a Death Spite, he will have to replace the weapon. He does, so he loses that one charge, and he's already at 10 and 6, turn 6, so patrons are far ahead. Patron is a turn 8 play, so I'm not expecting any patrons coming from him right now. Just need to push as much as possible, dealing insane amount of damage. There is one patron and armor smith, so he's trying to build up a board with that and also gain some armor. Pretty good move, but we do have options. We do have options here. I can steal armor smith with Cabal Shadow Priest. I can kill the patrons as well, so I'm doing exactly that, attacking to that patron, realizing I can heal my Azure Drake to not lose it, clearing the patrons and having a big board. Patron at 10 health, 8 mana. He would normally be able to go with the patrons, but there are no good targets, and he used the patron already. So Torison goes down. I have 6, 7 damage. I'm missing 3 points of damage. Nothing to deal damage at hand. But now it's a very hard decision what to do. Do I trade? Do I go face? And what do I play? Do I go with Azure Drake? Maybe I can get Valen, but Valen doesn't do that much as well. So I'm deciding to just go for face, close my eyes. He didn't have Warsong end page on last turn, and it's not really possible to kill me with as few cards. He plays Harrison Jones, this means that he doesn't have that many good cards in hand, and with 7 health, that's it. Ysera to the face, Ysera's Awakening, and I win the game versus Warrior. And that's Kolento's Dragon Priest. Have fun, and good luck on the ladder.
This video is brought to you by G2A.com.